Good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
Jim, are you on a different couch?
I am.
We just tracked Jim by his couches. He's got a different couch in a different room in a different area.
I've got a view that a lot of people in Arizona don't quite have.
A fireplace?
Well, an ocean.
That's beautiful. Yeah, we can't see it's too
Oh,
lush.
too bright. Yeah.
Where are you at right now, Jim?
Bodega Bay. I
Very
manage a Airbnb out here, so every month and a half we come out here and stock everything up and check everything out.
hell yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. Work trips and turn into vacation trips. If you're living life, might as well make it the best. So, all right, let's jump into it. Let me hear from you. What kind of wins, celebration, something you're proud of that happened yesterday, or something you just want to share?
Man, yesterday was a long time ago.
Yesterday was a long week ago.
Yesterday, well, you already know, but I did the showing out at Picture Rock or near Picture Rock.
Picture Rocks, yes.
Yeah, I've never been out there, so that was an interesting drive and just getting to know the area better.
The beautiful thing is you got the experience showing a house as well as, looking at areas that you didn't know.
I hopped on my first accountability call in probably months, Dan. So that was a win for me.
A big win, man. I love that. Keeping yourself accountable. Great job for you, Eric. We all celebrate you and taking a vulnerable step like that. Come on now. Don't be shy.
I saw somebody else talking.
Okay. I got Cheryl, and I don't know who the second one was, but Cheryl, go first.
I was going to say I came across, this will happen to everyone and just happened to me where about 6 doors down from me, for sale sign just went up and it's with Keller Williams. It's not me. So someone in my office has it. So I live, it's on my street. So it's really like, you're like, oh my God, really? And then, cause I've been canvassing my whole neighborhood. I did look up that address. I have not contacted them directly because they probably weren't home when I went around, but I've been around here several times, knocking on doors. I'm going door knocking today again. I usually leave information or, usually just leave them something if they're not there, but otherwise I talk to them. So it's just kind of a shock when I was warned that would happen someday, like in general, to everybody, but.
Well, I hope it set a fire underneath you to make sure you connect with everybody.
I know, definitely.
That is one of the pits is like,
Exactly what I said. Anyway.
Bring him a buyer.
There you go.
But maybe I can help with some open houses and get some buyers from my own neighborhood.
There you go. I love it.
I did reach out to the person already and said, hey, if you need anyone, work some open houses. So.
All right. I know we had one more person wanted to share. If you want to still share.
I'll just share that I have 2 appointments on the calendar today to connect with people.
That's awesome. I love hearing that on the calendar, which means it's real. All right, let's talk about a simple sentence here. Must be nice. Has anyone ever heard that? Must be nice. Everyone's ever heard that? Has anyone ever said that? So here's the thing. I hate it too. Amanda says I hate it. Must be nice. I hate that. Right? I hear it from my family too, which is kind of like, you guys know how much work I put in. But we're going to do a quick little thing here. Is must be nice means that somebody is appreciating your lifestyle. And oftentimes people want the life, but they don't want the lifestyle. All right, raise your hand if you want to be successful in real estate. Jim doesn't. Okay, Jim, get off the call. He's like, my hands are tied. When we want to be successful in something, we want the life. We want the end result. We want the trophy, but we don't want to do the work. I heard a story this morning. A guy was talking about how his neighbors are like Nike sponsored athletes. They just look like Greek gods in spandex. And he's like, you know what? My neighbors are runners. I like to run, but my neighbors are runners. And when they leave the house at 5 a.m., I see them in their spandex and they look amazing. Like those 0% body fat type of people that just silicone loves. And he's like, you know what? That would be really nice for me to have. I want that. I want to be there. I want to be sponsored by Nike. I want to look that good in spandex. Oddly enough, never a sentence I've ever said. But I get it. He wants to be that. But then he said, if I look at what it's going to cost me to get there, instead of staying up until midnight with my wife, drinking wine and watching Netflix, I would have to eat celery, drink water, and go to bed at 9. And instead of being comfortable on cold days next to the fire, I'm out there trudging through the crisp, putting on my Nikes and running through the muck. He goes, you know what? If I look at the cost basis of things, it's going to cost me more than I think it's really worth. So until then, I'm just going to be a spectator. But how many of us are like that in real estate, where we see people that are massively successful or even mildly successful, and we're like, that's nice. I would like that. I want that. I want that luxury listing. I want that $100,000 commission line. I want these things. But have you looked into what it's going to cost you to get there? And is it worth it to you? Are you willing to pay that price? Are you willing to do the sacrifice? Are you willing to be accountable? Are you willing to be vulnerable to change? And sadly, and I'm going to say this as a blanket statement, I'm not pointing it at anybody in particular, but some of you are not. A lot of people in real estate want what the greats can do because we make it look easy. We make it look fun. We have all these toys and these trips and these lavish things. And a lot of people say, you know what, it must be nice. But no one's ever said, what did it take to get there? You just got lucky. Well, no, the harder I work, the luckier I get. So I'm asking you guys this, to be very serious with yourselves. I sent out the accountability checklist that Jamie shared with me at midnight last night. Why he was up at midnight or why I got it at midnight, I don't know. Looks like you sent it at 9:14 p.m. That's family time, my dude. However, like
Family time.
as promised,
no
you got it. But are you going to be accountable to it? Are you going to use the resource? Are you going to use the tool? Like Eric said, he showed up to an accountability call. Are you going to be accountable? If you want what great people have, you have to do what great people do. If you want what successful agents have, you have to do what successful agents do. And sometimes that's not comfortable. Sometimes that means getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and putting on your running shoes. That means picking up the phone call. That means doing the work. So remember, everything comes with a price. Are you willing to pay the price? Trust me, when you hit a certain level, those prices get more and more expensive. And it's often time away from the things that you love, the people you love, but it's a sacrifice, right? Just like anything. If you go to a job at McDonald's, you're trading time for money. But in real estate, you're doing the same thing. You're trading your time and effort for production. The beautiful thing here is in our business, we can scale that production. So no matter how much you work at McDonald's, you're going to get paid $15 an hour. But if you put in some magic hours in real estate, you might get paid $4,000 an hour. So just remember that no matter what you want, set a price to it, what you're willing to pay. The beautiful thing is sometimes the cost isn't as much as you think it is, but other times it might be a lot more. But if you want more, you're going to have to spend more time, more energy, more effort. I hope you guys are willing to look into that and write down what you're willing to spend. Because I want the great things for you in life, but I'm not going to define what success looks like to you. Success to you might have multiple houses and $1 million pay line and all these things, or it might just be that you don't have to worry about getting guacamole at Chipotle. It's up to you. Oh, I like that, Liza. Know your worth and then add tax. Actually, know your worth, get a PLLC, run a business, tax deferment, save yourself some profit. And for my business owners out there that actually have those, you know what I'm talking about. For those that you don't, you need to incorporate yourself. Any thoughts, comments on that? I got some head shakes. Go ahead, Jalen.
So I guess there's like that hard work factor. Is it, at what point are there people that I guess reframe stuff to where they don't feel like they are working? And like, how would you add that to, what you just said earlier?
Well, that's a great question. Has anyone on the call ever done something out of passion that seemed ludicrous? Some people do things for passion. Some people do things for need and necessity. If you were in a hole and it started to fill with water, how hard would you swim to keep from drowning? Really damn hard. But if there was a bucket of gold at the bottom of the hole that was really deep, you might not want to swim down to the bottom and get it. So depending on how you're motivated, if you're pleasure motivated, there's one way. Or if you're fear motivated, there's another. But one thing I can tell you is when your why is strong enough, the how doesn't matter. And the how is the work. If I want to be out of debt, I want to pay off my student loans, I want to get myself a house, I want to have a cushy, life, and I want to provide for my kids and send them to college and all these things that take money. We can equate that to how many hours we need to work at a job, a job, which is just over broke. Okay, I need to work 36,000 hours to accomplish this. Or in real estate, I need to sell 4 houses. And what work is it going to take for me to sell those 4 houses? I believe hard work is a good thing. Because things need to get taken care of. Like if you walk by my house and there's a piece of trash on the ground, it's going to get picked up. If it's not picked up, I'm going to yell at somebody. Not yell, I'm going to say, hey, did you not see that trash on the ground? My kids consider that hard work. I consider that pride, taking care of what we own. So people define hard work differently. But one thing is if you love what you do, like taking care of people, helping solve problems, providing a house for somebody, changing the outcome of somebody's entire life, passion takes over. And you don't mind working at 9 o'clock at night to send an email that you promised to send 13 hours before. So hard work is defined by the person doing it. But again, if your why is strong enough, the hard work doesn't matter. The hours don't matter. The sacrifices don't matter because you're building for something that's going to make everything great. A great book by Ed Milet. I've talked about it before. The Power of One More. The Power of One More is a fantastic read. It's a light read with a deep message. And in there, he talks about life is inconvenient. When you live inconvenience long enough, you can pull yourself into a life that no one else can live. So be willing to do the inconvenient work, and you'll be able to have the success and the must be nice that others won't. It's a heavy thought this morning, but it's Wednesday. The truth hits. I wore my dinosaur shirt today because I knew I was going to bring some Paleolithic energy, some big energy. So, all right. Anything else? Good. Great question, Jalen. Look at him. He's asking all the good questions. Well, I'm proud of you guys are up this morning. So what do you got?
I was going to say Jalen's going to make money. He's asking the right questions.
Okay, he's going to make money. Your paycheck is directly correlated to the quality of questions you ask. I hate to say it. If you're not asking good questions, probably not making good money. Would you like fries with that is not a good question.
It is if you like fries.
No, in no scenario, Jim, is that question a good question. In California, you can make $15,000 a day at McDonald's selling
It's a
fries.
great question if somebody's asking me.
Right, it's a great question they're asking if you're
Yeah.
being asked, but not when you ask. Be the receiver of a question. The answer is probably yes. Yes, I would like fries with that. All right. It is Tuesday, Wednesday, September. I don't even know what day it is, guys. I hate having days off because it throws me off my calendar. It's Wednesday, September 6th. It is 6 days into the 9th month, the 23rd year, past 2,000 years after the birth of Christ, or however they determine the BC thing. Which means today is a damn good day to be a realtor. Do you agree? I think so. I think it's a damn good day to be a realtor, which means we have some conversations to work on. So what topics, conversations, or objections do you want to work on this morning so that we can help you sharpen your axe and you can chop down more of those real estate bushes? Go ahead. Take yourself off mute, Bree, if you got.
Yes, so you ask someone if they would be willing to send anybody who's gonna list or looking to buy a home your way, and they already have someone that they've been referring.
Okay. Hey, Bree, I completely understand that you have somebody you already refer people to. Everybody needs a second place. And when that first place doesn't work out, I want you to know you've got me. And then what do? You continue to build the relationship so the first place becomes 0 place. Did you know who I was 6 months ago? Some of you did. Very few of you didn't. But now, am I a pretty pivotal part of your life? Because we talk every single morning. You can provide value in drove. I say, hey, I get it. You got someone you already refer people to. I just want you to know that if that first person doesn't answer the phone, I'm always available. True to life story. My friend Grace is the managing partner of one of the top steakhouses in Tucson. So she is an amazing individual, and she refers all of her business to a long agent. It was someone at the different brokerage. And she told me, hey, Dan, I refer everyone to Anthony. I said, great. You know that Anthony's not going to fit every client you talk to, and you know me personally. She's like, well, yeah, you're right. I was like, hey, so when somebody comes up that I would be a better fit for, please think of me. Some guy came in, some redneck millionaire, moving in from Texas, drives a big lifted truck. Anthony drives a Prius. They're not going to get along. So she calls me up. She goes, Big Dan, I got something for you. I was like, what do you got, Grace? She's all, it could be your dad. I was all, I'm in. But you just got to open that doorway. Just because you have someone that cuts your lawn every time doesn't mean you don't have a second and third place. Give it a shot, Bree. Bree, I've already got someone that I refer people to.
I completely understand that, and I appreciate being loyal to people that you know and that you've already been referring business to. If you get to that point where they don't answer the call or they're just not as busy with helping you with the clients that you send their way, I'm right here. I would love to help you, and we're going to keep going on walks in the morning. I'm going to keep getting to know you more, and regardless of whether you send referrals, I'm here for you.
There you go. Easy.
There's a lot of different steakhouses in town, a lot of different restaurants in town. Variety's good, right?
Variety is good. And I'm not everyone's flavor. I don't get along with a lot of people. I get along with a lot of people, but I don't get along with a lot of people. It's kind of weird, but there are people out there that I just will never get along with, like my old boss. Shit happens.
And Prius drivers.
And Prius drivers. That is true. If you drive a Prius and I'm offending you, take that right on the chest. Because most of the time in Prius world, you're driving slower than everybody else. You get great gas mileage. You can go faster. Just a little bit faster. Don't speed. All right. Other conversations, topics, objections, situations you want to work on, guys. This is where we get to fine tune your world.
Well, what would you do? Okay, I farmed my neighborhood once last year and I meant to pick it up again. But I got COVID, right? Well, I got COVID. I was quarantined. Another real estate agent moved down the street and she was door knocking and farming. And I was just like a caged animal, like, oh my God, she's taking over my turf. And she talked to all the neighbors. She represented herself in the buy. So she sent out mailers. And every couple of weeks, there's an EXP van parked in front of her her house, kind of like a mobile billboard. So what would you do in that situation with?
Spray paint.
Vandalism. No, I
You
wouldn't. So what would you do? Let's hear it. What would you do in this situation?
Well,
I would do
she
the
farmed-
exact
she-
thing.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Thought it was an open question.
Oh, go Devin first, and then we're going to talk to Joanne because
No, I would just join right along with her. If you see what she's doing is working, then why can't there be both of you guys? Like we were just talking about, not somebody isn't everybody's cup of tea. So maybe somebody doesn't like her, well, they'll like you.
100%.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
Anthony,
going to say.
get safe, and then you can talk, Anthony. I know you're driving, so whenever you're
That
safe.
was kind of what I was going to say. And like she door knocked at 5 in the afternoon. I thought that was a bad time. So I was going to do the morning, catch a different set of people. So
You got some feedback from another mega agent. Go ahead, Anthony.
All right. So first, there's a lot of limited beliefs there. Second, I got with an agent in my neighborhood and we did Food Truck Fridays together. He was from a different brokerage and we just kind of shared deals.
Oh, interesting.
The
Okay.
people at the bottom
And
are
now-
competing. Remember that. The people at the bottom are competing. The people at the top are collaborating.
Okay, interesting. Okay. That's a good way to spin that. I like that.
Do you have more, Anthony?
I was going to say, and now I kind of own the neighborhood because he moved to Texas, but he's still a referral partner of mine.
Yeah. Just because they have a different badge on their shirt doesn't mean they're enemies.
Right.
Mind if I took that line of thinking with every agent that I came across that wasn't a Keller Williams agent, I'd be in a lot of fistfights. I'm territorial. Mikey, I know is on this call, lives in my old neighborhood, and 2 doors down from him as an agent, 2 doors down on the other corner as an agent. Yet the lady on the corner sold a house to a Keller Williams agent that doesn't even live in the neighborhood.
Okay.
So when you're farming a neighborhood, people, remember this. When you're farming a neighborhood, 1 time, they're never going to remember you. 2 times, they're not going to remember who you are. 3 times, okay, they might see your poster and remember it, but it takes an average of 11 impressions before somebody realizes who you are. And having a band or a Jeep plastered with your name and information parked out front of your house is only one impression. Even if they drive by it 1,000 times, that's only one impression because it becomes part of the backdrop. It becomes part of the terrain after so long. We think because, oh, it's there, everyone sees it every time. No. That's why people run into parked cars all the time. Because they become part of the terrain, regardless of what's on them. So you got to do multiple impressions. And this can be door knocking, circle prospecting through phone calls, drop-offs for pop buys, do community events, do mailers, all of these things mixed together. But an average of 11 impressions. If you're going to do a mailer every month, you better soak up for an entire year, ready to go. Every 15th of the month, you send out your mailer. If you're going to mix them in, you can do those 11 impressions a lot faster.
Well, and Joanne, I would be annoyed if there was a van parked on my street every couple of weeks for a couple of days.
It's like 5 doors down. So it's like I see it.
So you never know, right?
Yeah.
Reach out to those other people because maybe people don't like the fact that that van's out there all the time.
Oh, it's hideous.
People do business with people they like.
Yeah.
And how many of your neighbors do you like?
Right. I've been there longer and I know a lot of them because I used to walk my dog. So time to get a new dog.
You used to. What changed?
He passed. So I was
Get a
thinking
dog.
of getting a new one for a mascot for tax purposes.
Or walk your partner. Who cares?
Yeah.
Joanne, I had 4
kids and puppies.
You
Kids
can come
and
and borrow one of my dogs and walk it every day. They would love it.
Or as one of his giant cats.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you walk a horse down the road, people take notice.
There's a guy that lives, I live up in the Pima Canyon area, so the North Tucson, and we're coming down Ina. There's a guy that lives at Ina and Ina and La Cañada that has a horse, and he stands out on the side of the road just brushing his horse. It is the most visible thing you can see because you're like, oh shit, there's a guy brushing a horse on the side of the road. I'm just saying.
Used to have a neighbor that walked a chicken. That was interesting.
There's a guy in Tucson. It's the lizard guy. He's got a lizard on his head, and he takes his lizard places. The giant iguana. If you stand out, you stand out. So, and sorry, Amanda, I have reclassified your horses as giant cats. So, all right, great points to talk about today, guys. It all falls back into one word: consistency. You're going to build a relation with consistency. You're going to overwrite the person that already has a referral partner with consistency. You're going to win a neighborhood with consistency. So you got something.
And value. I'll say value. So it's not just knocking on a door, like Anthony did the food truck event, which, he does that all the time consistently, but it's value. It brings neighbors together, right? So like, what can you do that would provide value that's going to make somebody remember you, that's going to make you stand out above somebody else? Think about a luxury resort, a Four Seasons or a Ritz-Carlton. What do they provide that a Holiday Inn doesn't? And try and, and try and model your business after that, details and being valuable, providing an experience that the other place doesn't provide. You both places are a place to sleep, but one far exceeds the other. Why? Figure out the why.
So a really good point. If you haven't experienced something like that, maybe that's something you need to go do on your journey of understanding how to live differently and see things differently. Is go see what others are doing differently.
A lot of the luxury groups that I'm in, that's one of the things that we focus on. Find luxury brands and find what they do differently and really research that and dig into it. I mean, like the Four Seasons, every single room that gets cleaned by the housekeeping at Four Seasons has a 121-point checklist for every single room, every single day.
And they're signed off. They're not just done. They have to sign off on it.
Yeah. So it's like, what level of service?
Yeah, that's a testament to consistency and standards as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A dollar bill is valuable on its own. Compared to a stack of dollar bills, not so much. However, if people are in need of a single dollar, it becomes life-saving. You can be one of hundreds of agents in a neighborhood. But when you are able to connect to somebody's need, The value that you present is paramount. It is unrivaled because the people need you and you're there. One of our agents lives in my dad's neighborhood, and she walked around the neighborhood and put her business card in every mailbox. I was so mad at that, not because she was canvassing the neighborhood, but because of the laziness of it. Didn't attempt to connect with anybody, effectively just littered, just put her business card everywhere instead of actually going and knocking on doors and introducing herself and making a friend. That's a level of service. Yeah, she canvassed and she put her name out there and she prospected, not really. But when I talked to a guy on a listing presentation that lives 5 doors down from my dad, both of them said, yeah, I got her business card in my mailbox. And both of them were turned off on the fact that she just stuck a card in the mailbox. Both of them are retired old dudes and they were home. She could have easily picked up a listing by knocking on a door, but instead she put a card in the mailbox. My dad saw it. My dad called me and said, hey, what the hell is this? Is this one of your ladies? And I said, not anymore, but I'll talk to her. So even though someone's doing something in your neighborhood or some level of service, can you do better? Absolutely. Go connect. Go be consistently providing value to your neighborhood and connecting with them. And like Amanda said, and what Anthony showcased is when you can do something to bring a community together, you are a connector, a super connector, and people love super connectors. When you can find a point of value, like I know that Jamie said this yesterday in our Ignite class, he's a super connector. He loves finding people's values and what they can do and connecting them with someone in need. That is a resource, right? That's where my tagline, your friend in real estate, comes from, because I know somebody in just about every industry. And if someone needs this, I got that. You need someone that can make a nose cone for a supersonic ballistic missile? I know a guy. I know the company that makes those. I know the owner. Good friend of mine now. So it's all because I've connected. So go connect today. And don't worry if they already have a friend, family member, relative, or ex-boyfriend, girlfriend that's in real estate. You can always become second place, and second place becomes first, because hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Remember that. People will get complacent. Outwork them. They may be smarter, more talented, or better looking, but don't let them outwork you. That's all it takes. My friends, thank you so much for showing up today. Check your emails. I sent out something this morning from yesterday. If you didn't get it, you didn't give me your email. Till then, I'll see you tomorrow. If you're Ignite, I'll see you here in a couple minutes. Big high five.